So taking advantage of the fast recovery of the double declining balance and the full recovery of the straight line method, we can combine these two methods. When we combine them, the method allows the calculation of depreciation using both the declining balance and the straight line method. And then you can switch from one method to another when the other method predicts a higher depreciation than another. And this method would remove the major disadvantages of the declining balance method, such as not being able to recover the entire cost of an asset. And at the same time, it allows the rapid depreciation as calculated by the declining method. So therefore, let's look again. For this kind of calculation, we don't calculate the book value in the beginning, but what we do is we compare the depreciation amount. So we will be using these two formulas. To calculate the depreciation of the straight line method is very straightforward. All you need to do is you need to have the cost of the investment divided by the year or the life of that equipment. For a double declining balance method, the depreciation is calculated using this formula, which is 2, because it's a double declining balance, 2 divided by n multiplied by the cost of n minus 1, the cost of the year before. Okay, because the depreciation changes every year, so you cannot multiply it by the initial cost because it changes every year. Okay, now let's try and do one example. Now again, since we're combining methods, so it's best that we construct a table that looks like this. Okay, a little bit different than the table that we did before. In this case, we calculate the depreciation first, and then finally we calculate the year-end value or the book value. All right, so let's start with year 0. At year 0, you don't have any depreciation, right? For both the double decline balance or the straight line method, they're both 0. The equipment is fresh, it's new, you have not used it. So therefore, the year-end value is still, that's the initial cost, 250. Now, once you start to use it on the first year, let's calculate the depreciation. Using the depreciation formula, 2 over n multiplied by the cost of the year before. So for year 1, therefore, you would do 2 divided by 5 multiplied by 250 and you get 100. So that's the depreciation using double decline balance. A straight line method is A0 divided by n, which is 250 divided by 5, and you get 50. Now, our objective is to choose the higher depreciation amount. In this case, between double declining balance and straight line method, double declining balance gives a higher return of the investment. So therefore, you would choose double declining balance. And the year-end value is calculated based on the double declining balance. So therefore, the year-end value will be 250 minus 100 equals to 150. All right. Now, let's move on to the second year. On the second year, using the same formula, 2 over n divided by the cost of the initial year. So for double declining balance, the depreciation is 2 over 5 multiplied by the book value of the year before, which is 150, and you get 60. Now, for straight line method, you kind of like have to reset the whole thing. The way to calculate the depreciation for the straight line method now, it's not 250 divided by 5, but now it becomes because the value of the equipment has decreased to 150, so therefore it's 150 divided by 4 equals to 37.5. So now why is it divided by 4? Is because I mentioned that the whole thing is being reset and the remaining life of the equipment is now 4 and no longer 5. Okay, so this thing you have to take note because the number of years will decline when calculating the depreciation. Now we have these two values between 60 and 37.5. 60 has the higher value, double declining balance, so therefore we would choose double declining balance for the second year. And now we can calculate the year-end value using the double declining balance value. Therefore it is 150 minus 60 equals to 90. Okay, let's do for year 3. Again, for year 3, the double declining balance depreciation is 2/5. Multiply it by the book value of the year before that, which is 90, and you get 36. Do the same thing for straight line method. The book value is now 90, so 90 divided by 3, which is the remaining year, and you get 30. Compare it again, between 36 and 30, we know that 36 is greater than 30, so therefore we would choose the double declining balance. And again, calculate the year-end value. The year-end value would be 90 minus 36 equals to 54. Continue on to year 4. Again, do the same calculation for DDB. 2/5 multiplied by 54 equals 21.6. And for straight line method, the book value now is 54, so therefore 54 divided by 2, because that's the remaining life of the equipment. 54 divided by 2 equals to 27. Now let's compare the depreciation. This is where we see a shift in our decision because straight line method would give a higher depreciation amount. So therefore, in this case, we choose the straight line method. Now the book value of this equipment would be 54 minus 27, and you get 27. Continue to the last year, year 5. Alright, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. 205 multiplied by 27 is 10.8, and for straight line method, you only have 1 year, so 27 divided by 1 equals to 27. And you see that single line method would give a higher recovery rate, and therefore we choose straight line method, and you will see that the year-end value is 0. So can you see now, when we combine these two methods, we are able to get higher recovery rate, and at the same time you're able to recover the total capex that you have invested on the GCS by the 0 value of the book end value. All right. If we put the values and compare it in a graph, you can see that because I'm showing here comparing with the single line method and the double declining line method, so the light green is the one that is the combination method. You can see that the first 3 years coincide with the double declining balance chart or graph, but in the 4th year and 5th year it starts to follow a linear line there. All right, so that is the combination method of depreciation. And up next, we will do another tutorial on unit of production method.